Hello everybody and welcome to the live Life Mastery Show, midday on a Thursday with Adrian. And today I am live down in the Byron Shire. I'm actually in Brunswick Heads, which is near Byron Bay. So I've just driven down from the Gold Coast and arrived here at the cafe. So a great thing for you to do for me would be to let me know that you can hear me and everything is clear. That will be a great thing. So if somebody could just say, "Hi Adrian, all is clear, we hear you clearly," that will be absolutely fantastic. And then I'm not talking to fresh air and I am talking to people, so that would be a great thing. If you say, "Hi Rowena," just let me know if you can hear me nice, loud and clear, and make sure that the video is working really well. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you very much. So a beautiful day here in Brunswick Heads near Byron Bay. I drove down, I was at a, yes, thank you, Rowena. So I was at a business breakfast in Robina at 8 a.m. this morning till 10, and then I hit the road and drove down here because I have the absolute commitment to be here as much as I can on a Thursday, live at midday for the Life Mastery Show. So this show is for you, and this is about engaging you in the process. So what I'd love for you to do is to answer me some, thank you Rowena, is to ask me some very clear, precise questions. And remember, I don't do the downloading from the spiritual realm. This is from consciousness, from insight, from experience of my work as coaching and mentoring and counseling and psychotherapy, to help you to get on track and stay on track and to bring more into your life, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, creatively, intimately, sexually, or what other areas there are that you may be off track right now. Okay, so Rena, first time here. So as I've just explained, this is about helping you, supporting you, inspiring you to get more in tune with your life, more in tune with what you're doing, so that you become more conscious and you get more life balance. So this is about life balance and life mastery. So if there's some area in your life right now that's not in alignment, you're not living that 80-20 or 90-10 principle, and you're not living that as well as you can, then my support here is to help you to do that by you asking me a clear and conscious question. Will my spiritual gifts open soon? So Rowena, great question, because we all have spiritual gifts, and what I say to people when I'm working with them is they will open if you work on them. So the question is, who is your spiritual teacher? Who are you working with to help you to engage in that process to open up to those spiritual gifts? Because what I find often is if people don't work with that spiritual teacher, spiritual guide, spiritual coach, excuse me for that. Yeah, so excuse me for a moment, my beautiful cup of chai is just arriving. There's a great gentleman here. This is my live show.
Hello.
Yeah, live show every Thursday.
Don't fear it just because it's yellow.
Yeah, exactly, man. Thank you very much. So I love the service here. Get a lovely chai. So Rowena, back onto that. This is what you get with Adrian when it's live and raw. You get all sorts happening. Okay, so Rowena, I suggest it's what I do. I've been following my spiritual path for 25 years now. I follow the path of the Rosicrucian path, or the anthroposophical path. Been doing it for 25 years. I teach lots of people how to get in touch with their own inner spirit, and of course then connecting to the spiritual realms to get that guidance. Because what I found with people, if you don't get that support, don't get that in guidance from people who have experience, it's easy to get lost in that world. And the analogy I use is it's a bit like scuba diving. You know, we can all swim to begin with, and then we might snorkel and we might go down a couple of meters. But if you want to go deep down in terms of going into the ocean to see what's there, you get lessons in scuba diving. You get a scuba diving instructor to train you. And you start with 3 meters, and then 5, and then 7, and then 9, and then down to 15, and maybe deeper. And it's the same with spiritual work. There's lots of things to learn, but there's lots of hindrances on the path as well. And if you don't get taught the right methods and the right techniques to do it, it's very easy to get lost and confused. And going through a process where you think you're in the spiritual realm, where you're actually not, you're still stuck in the what I call the astral realm. So a great one for that is, you know, to do the work. Been going through awakening a year, yeah. So the awakening process is quite incredible. You know, people get that initial awakening, you know, the Kundalini experience or the spiritual awakening, and then it comes on pretty fast, and it can be quite confusing and can be a little bit delusional at times, a little bit fantasy at times, you know, seeing things and hearing things. And it's about getting the guidance so you get the clear guidance, so you totally understand what you're working with. Otherwise, it's easy to get caught up what I call the fantasy world of spirituality. So making it real. So I'd love to do some work with you, Rooney, if you're open to it. And what I suggest you do is, like everybody, is go to my website, adrianhanks.com, book in for a free 30-minute consultation with me. So just go to my website, adrianhanks.com, book in for a session. Now look, I am heading off to India on Tuesday for 2 weeks. So I'm only available Friday and Saturday and maybe on Monday. So my suggestion is book in for Friday or Saturday for a one-on-one session with me. Otherwise you'll have to wait 2 weeks because I will be in India. I'll be there on my doing my work for Skyway Invest Group and also on a yoga retreat. But I do to say, people, please, please, please get your spiritual teachers and your coaches and your mentors for all aspects of your life, because you can be sure that you get clear vision, you can get clear planning, clear action, and also the accountability for it. So coaches and mentors and teachers keep the accountability happening, and it's really, really important for the work. So hi Donna, good to see you on here. And so this is about asking those questions. Yes, if Rowena, if you have a question around spirituality, you can ask it on here. Otherwise, please do contact me and we can do some work together. And if you feel like it's a fit, we can actually do some work. And just to let everybody know, I do have a 12-month life mastery program starting in November. It's only for 12 people and it's for 12 months. So 12 people, 12 months working with me, group work, one-on-one work, to bring in that life balance, to bring in that life mastery. So we do group work, we do one-on-one work online. We also have a live workshop, 2-day workshop, probably going to be in Byron Bay. We also have lots of other things. Go to my website, adrianhanks.com, go to the programs page, and you'll see that as well. So that's an interview process, because it's got to be the right synergy for the right people on that program. And there is still room for a few more people on that program. They'll be starting in November. So that's for the committed people. People who are willing to commit to grow and expand and exceed in their life on all aspects of their life. So you can do that as well. So Joe, hi, I've multiple gifts and unsure which I should focus on. How do you know which are the right ones, for lack of better words? Okay, great question, Joe, thank you. So look, many skills. I'm a bit like that. I'm very eclectic. I've got a million things going on in my mind, and if I'm not careful, I can get a bit lost in that spaghetti bowl. So for me, it's about getting the clear vision of what I truly want to do with my life and on this planet. So I break it down to 3 clear things that I love to do. And they're the umbrellas. Everything comes underneath that. And I love to travel, I love to teach, and I love to write. So I'm a writer, I'm a teacher, and I'm a traveler. So when I combine those things, or everything I do comes under one of those 3 umbrellas, it makes that spaghetti bowl of all those ideas very neat and tidy. So with my travel, I can teach while I'm traveling. I can write while I'm traveling. I can earn while I'm traveling. I can have experiences while I'm traveling. So what I've done, I've incorporated my travel, for instance, by taking people to Africa every 2 years. So I get paid to be traveling in Africa with a group of people. I'm going to India in 5 days' time for 2 weeks. I've been across to Belarus twice. I've been to Sri Lanka this year. I'll be going to Europe next year. So I incorporate my work with my travel and my writing with my travel, and I teach while I'm traveling. And it's a great thing to have 1 or 2 or 3 focused areas that we do in our lives, and they become the umbrellas of everything we do. So we get the clarity on the vision. What do you truly want to do on the planet? What do you want to truly do for yourself? And then all those things come under one. Sometimes we have to let things go, or we have to just do them occasionally, like once a year. Like I'm a didgeridoo teacher. I'd love to be teaching didge every week, but I can't because it doesn't fit into the bigger scheme. So I just teach it once or twice a year. I do book writing workshops. I'd like to be doing it more often. So I just do it less frequently. I do it once or twice a year, or I do it one-on-one coaching. So there's various ways, Joe, to get clear on where you want to put all your skills. And the first thing I suggest you do, and I'm happy to do this with you, go to my website, jump on, book in a free 30-minute session with me, and we get your vision. We get your vision really clear. And likewise, if you're committed, if you want to commit to getting all that into place, why don't you jump on and have a look at the programs page on my website and see if my 12-month program might be something for you, because I'm guarantee you in that 12 months you will come out the other side clear in everything you do in your life, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, vocationally, creatively, sexually, intimately, in your relationship, all those things, because you have 12 solid months to bring it all together. And I guarantee you at the end of it, you'll just be a totally different person, with clarity, with focus, with vision, and everything in place. And that just happens. So do you do mediumship? Rowena, I have a gift for mediumship, but I don't do it on this show. There's lots of other people on the Spiritual Events Directory doing the mediumship. I choose not to, because I want to bring my coaching and my mentoring and my psychotherapy and my counselling forth to support people. So although I have those gifts of tuning in, and I have my own spiritual guides to do that, I choose not to on this show. And occasionally, if I'm working one-on-one with people, I will bring that skill and experience in. But I generally don't. If people want that, I usually refer on to people I know who are really excellent in that realm. And I've got a few people I know who are absolutely brilliant in that realm. I've had work and do work with them myself if I want to know something from the other side. But generally, and it's certainly not what I'm doing on this show. So on this show, what I love to do is to bring people into clear consciousness about asking clear questions. Because when we work with conscious clarity, we work with the subconscious mind a lot deeper. Because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between, if you like, fantasy and reality. But when we bring clarity in, the subconscious mind holds on to the clarity the more we work with it, and then we get out of fantasy. We get out of old story. We get out of the old paradigm, and we bring ourselves into focus, into the new paradigm. And that's a really empowering place to be when we start to make our own decisions in our lives. That's why I love to do the visioning, and then the action. The vision, the plan, and then the action. And it's always about creating the vision first, then putting the plan into action. And then my job is to make sure the action steps are taken every day, every week, every month, so that we actually get things done. Because it's great having an idea, but what about the follow through? And I'll give you an example. A few weeks ago, I had a download, from, if you like, the spiritual realm, some of the creative spirit beings, and I downloaded a game. So it's a great game. I've been practicing it, been working on it, writing the rules, playing the game to work out and iron out the little areas where it might not be flowing. And so I've got the game, I've got the creation, I've got the vision. So now to take the action plan means I have to bring that game to fruition to make it available, globally. So yesterday I saw a lawyer, and then today I met with somebody who works with marketing and packaging. So I'm starting to put that out there. So I'll go and get the trademark for it, I'll get the packaging for it, we'll get it made, and then I'll put that game out into the world. And I will use experts, coaches, to help me to get that happening. Because I cannot just do it by myself, because I'm not the expert in those fields. So find the expert, find the teacher, and then get that happening for yourself. So that's in light for Joe and Rowena. I just watching a group earlier, and a lady was getting a reading. I was picking up on the situation, so in tuned, it was a bit overwhelming. Did you ever hear that before? Yeah, look, oftentimes what I say to people is if you're tuning into a frequency, it's like if you tune into a television frequency, everybody can watch the same frequency, like ABC or SBS. It's the same frequency, everybody can tune in. So when people are sitting around you, when people are doing work, if you're open to it, you'll pick up on that vibration, that frequency, and you'll pick up on possibly the messages. And the message may seemingly be for somebody else, but it could be for you too. If you go and see somebody at a show, if you go and see, Esther Hicks, for instance, she will pick the priority person in the room to speak on behalf of everybody in the room, because they are resonating at the right vibration to receive the message that's not just for them, but for everybody else. And that's why people pick priority people. And that's what I say here. If you ask a question, you're not just asking that question for yourself. There'll be somebody else in the group that'll be needing to hear that answer and that question too. Because that's what happens when we do collective consciousness and collective vibration. So yeah, absolutely, Rowena. You will be picking up, if you're in tune, you'll be picking up on the vibration, and the answer may seemingly seem for you too. And it probably is on some level. So it happens, the more you tune into that energy frequency, the more you realize that will happen for yourself. The more you'll happen. And things happen just in a crazy way. And seriously, I was on my car phone driving down, and a friend of mine, his surname is Greenwood, and as I hit the speaker button and it came up on my speaker in my car, a vehicle came past me, and it was Greenwood Landscape Gardening. It wasn't him, but it was like, whoa, in that moment. So things happen, seemingly arbitrarily, but there's messages everywhere when we tune in and look. So just a little example, that was just on the way down, and I recognized it and registered that. But it can be much deeper than that, of course. If we're working within the spiritual realm, we will get those spiritual messages. So oftentimes when I'm working, I'll get insights or ideas or thoughts, and of course everybody else is getting them at the same time. But the people that run with those thoughts, the people that run with those ideas, the people follow with the plan and the action, they're the ones that get things done. Stephen King, he wrote lots of novels and got lots of movies made, and he did what's the one with the little alien on the push bike there, and he said, look, everybody's downloading this stuff. I just chose to take the action and actually put it into a movie. So we all get the information, but not many people take up the action realm to follow through the creative thought. And sadly, that's a bit sad, because when we have those ideas, wouldn't it be beautiful to bring those thoughts to fruition, to bring that creation to fruition? So I'm an author, I write, I've got one of my books here is just being redone, but this is my book. I've got a children's book, I've got videos, I've got downloads, I've got online programs, because when I have a vision, when something comes through, I follow through. I get the support to follow through. I plan it, and then I take action. So when I have a creative thought, I make sure it comes to fruition. I've still got a few things in the cupboard that I'm working on, but I've got 10 or 12 amazing things on the planet that I've had a creative thought from, put it into plan, then put it into action. And that's what I love helping people to do. So whether that's a vocational thought, a book, a movie, a workshop, something you want to create, if you have the idea, I can help you bring that idea to fruition. I can get you to put it in front of people, because that's my skill. It's what I've learned to do for myself and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients over the last 20 years. So that's what I do. So yeah, the mediumship stuff is there, but it's I tune into the energy frequencies, if you like, more than the mediumship. So look, this is all about you, this show. So if you have a question, please do ask. Keep it clear. Ask a question about your life, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, relationship, vocation, sexually, intimately, creatively, whatever it is you feel like you need to get some support on to get you back on track, then that's what this show is for. Let me have a drink of my beautiful, beautiful turmeric chai. Very nice, very spicy. Oh, that's good. So just while I'm waiting for somebody to pop a question, hope you will, because this show is all about you. Just a little bit about where I've been this week, what I'm doing this week. So I've just driven down to Byron Bay. I've got a project I'm working on with a client to convert his farm into an organic farm. So we're getting the tractor in, we're getting the soil all ready, getting the compost made, and then we'll be doing our planting here in the spring, summer to get some crops in for him with strawberries and lettuces and ginger and lots of other beautiful, delicious things, and flowers and calendula and herbs. So I'm really enjoying that project. So I'll be on the land for about 4 hours getting my dose of earth energy. And then tonight at 7 o'clock in the Byron Bay Community Centre, I will be presenting my Skyway Invest Group presentation, which is all about bringing financial freedom into one's life, which is a big part of our lives, of course, because a lot of people struggle financially. A lot of people in the spiritual realm, in the spiritual work, still are quite poor in that space because they haven't learned how to deal with the financial world. There's a bit of a fear around getting into finances and portfolios and investments. So that's what I've been steeped in for the last 15 months. I've got a spiritual financial coach who's deeply spiritual, who works for finance, and is teaching me all sorts of insights about working consciously with money. And I've been doing that, so now I'm actually presenting out there, building my Skyway Invest Group team and teaching and helping other people to do the same, so that we can all have that financial freedom and have a financial freedom collective community where we can start to do amazing things on the planet by crowdfunding and starting little businesses and helping out with global projects. So you can check that out on my website as well. And if you're in Byron Bay or close by, if you're on the Gold Coast, for instance, just drive down. It's only an hour to Byron Bay, 7 o'clock in the community centre, and you can learn something about financial freedom. So that's why I'm in Byron, and then I'll be driving back up tomorrow, spending tomorrow and Saturday, having some of these half-an-hour consultations, finishing off a project, and then on Tuesday I'll fly to India for 2 weeks. So I've got a pretty full. I don't do busy, I do full, because I love to have a full life, which includes meditation, swimming, body surfing, artwork, painting, clay work, lots of love making, lots of things, but it's very full and rich. So I like to have a full, rich life, not a busy life. So what have we got here from Jackie? I was wondering where I'm going to live and family will my daughter fall pregnant soon. So Jackie, like I've shared on this, I'm not going to tune in and do the psychic work and say that yes, I know the answers to that. What I'm going to say to you is get clear on your question about asking that question from a more conscious perspective from yourself. So the first part is wondering where I'm going to, is that to live? Yep. So that depends on where you want to live. Like, what's your vision? Like, where do you want to be living? Like, we moved out of Sydney 9 months ago. We've gone to the Gold Coast for a while, and my vision is to come back to Byron Bay next year to live. So I'm clear on my vision. So now I'm putting the energy into where that's going to be specifically and precisely, so that I can focus in on that. So, like, where do you want to be? Rather than me saying, well, you're going to be living in Mackay or Melbourne, that's actually quite irrelevant. It's about where you want to live. Where do you want to be? What can you focus on? What can you plan? And the question about your daughter falling pregnant, well, does she want to fall pregnant? Is she making love often enough to fall pregnant? Does her partner want a pregnancy? Are they in the space to conceive? Has she got rid of her stress? Is she eating good food? Is she preparing herself? Is she doing ceremony? All those questions. And then, yeah, possibly she might fall pregnant. And if she's tuned in, spiritually, she'll feel the presence of that being that wants to come through. And if you're the grandmother, you might feel that too. Yeah, but it's about tuning into that space. But I'm not going to say to you, yes, she's going to fall pregnant in 6 or 12 months, because if she doesn't, then I don't want to carry that. Adrian said, I'm not interested in carrying those messages. So it's about up to you. Where do you want to live? Is your daughter preparing for the birth? Are you helping to prepare her, perhaps? And the question might be, are you communicating with your daughter? Maybe there's a hidden question underneath that as well. Oftentimes with these open questions, there's a hidden question, and the hidden question might be, are you communicating with your daughter deep enough to have that conversation with her? That's an open question to you. Cheers. This is absolutely delicious, warm, spicy, really lovely chai. So let's see if I have any more questions. Remember, ask it from that conscious place, from that clarity space, what you want to know. How can I support you? How can I help you? How can I be insightful for you to help you in some area of your life? And if you want some support on this, go to my website, adrianhanks.com, book in for a session. But also what you can do is go to the store, go to the shop, and you can download the free journal, and you can start some journaling. You can watch some videos in the media page. There's lots of resources in there that are actually free to start with. And then obviously there's things to buy. You can do my online program, which is a $300 gift. And or you can do the 12-month program, which is obviously a bit more expensive, but you do get that support to break through and to get you really on track in your life and to bring more balance and mastery into your life. So Jackie, I feel I'm not going to stay in this area, but I financially feel we are struggling. She is doing all the right things to fall. Thank you. So the question is, where do you want to move to, and how can you help with that finance? What can you do? What are your skills to do that? How can you build something up to either get the money or to save the money to be able to move? And what I love doing in my work, and what I do really well, is help people think outside the box. Help to think outside the box. And I'll give you an example. A few years ago, I was working with a beautiful lady, and she wanted to go and do a workshop in Paris to do some healing work. and it was coming up. She had a few days to get there, and I said, look, let's see what we can do. And I said, I'll tell you what, is it going to happen again in a few more weeks to give you a bit more breathing space? He said, well, actually, the same course is happening in Italy. It's in a 5-star hotel. It's about $4,500 to fly there, stay in the hotel, do the course, or 5.5. I can't remember. I think it was 4.5 or 5. He said, but I've got literally, what I'm paying you for your coaching, plus I've got about $5 or $10 in my pocket. I've just finished my work. I'm looking to start something new. So she wanted to do the Access Consciousness workshop in Italy. So we had a couple of sessions together. We put a plan into action. She executed that plan, and then she told me, she phoned me from Italy like 4 weeks after our session, and she said, Adrian, I was sitting on that airplane flying from Australia into Italy. I was journaling. I was doing my notes in my journal, and I wrote in there, how the hell did this happen? How the hell did I get from being sitting with $5 in my wallet, I think it was like 4 weeks ago, to being on an airplane flying to Italy with my course paid for, staying at a 5-star hotel, booked in to do a 6-day course with the guy, Pearls, can't remember his first name, to do the Access Consciousness training. And she phoned me and said, it's incredible. And it's because we thought outside the box. I found a way to raise the funds with her to be able to do that process. So there are ways, Jackie, you just got to think a little bit deeper, put your skills into action, put the mind into action, forget any old story about being poor or not being able to raise money, and finding a new way to do it. So it can happen. You can make it possible. And if you work with somebody to make it happen, I'm sure it can happen. And as for your daughter, I'm glad she's doing all the things possible. And my question would be, what more can she do? So I know she might be doing, everything in her power, but is there one more thing? Is she meditating on that child? Is she tuning into her lover, her partner a little bit deeper? Is she really opening up to having that child come through? So there's always another level. We can play it 80-20 principle, but what happens if we go to the 90-10 or the 95-5 and we do that extra yard? That's the question here. It's like if I go to the gym, I can do 10 push-ups, but if I do 12, I'm doing an extra 20%. So it's about focusing on that extra little bit of work. So Jackie, you can move, choose where you want to be, vision it, and then put a plan into action about how you actually do that. Very happy to help you if I can in that process. Oh, question here for Rowena. Will me and Joe be in a healthy relationship? Rowena, great question. And my answer to that is, what are you doing to make it healthy? What are you doing with Joe to make it healthy? Are you meeting every week and having a very conscious relationship meeting? Have you got a conscious relationship agreement? Are you working with a conscious relationship coach or counselor? Have you got things in place to make it conscious? Is your love making and your intimacy at the highest level? Is your communication at the highest level? Is your time together quality time? They're my questions to you. And if they're not, why not? What needs changing? Make a list. My relationship currently is here. Dung, 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 dung. Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, sexually, intimately, creatively, communicatively. And if you get that, download that journal. That might help you in that as well. It's on my website, adrianhanks.com. Or you can just make a list of all the things in a relationship. Work out what's working well. Work out what needs some attention. Name it. Take it to your partner, discuss it, and then if you want some support on that, call me and let's do something. How valuable is your relationship? How valuable? I say to couples, seriously, if things aren't flowing and you're in love with somebody, you expect to do the journey with somebody and you want to do the soul journey with your partner. You may have your soul partner, soul love. You may have that partner you want to be with. If you're not investing the time and energy and money into that, it's probably not going to work for you. People want more time and energy into their vehicles or their homes than they do in their relationships. It's totally upside down. If you're not investing time and energy and money into your relationship, then you really have to question the priority of the relationship. So for me, if you're not spending a few grand a year on your relationship in terms of getting away, having coaching, having counselling, doing the work, doing workshops, whatever it is you need, then the priorities need changing. And that's quite simple. And I say that to everybody in relationship. Make it a priority if that relationship is the one you want to be in. Yep, I'm glad it does, Rowena. Yeah, Nicole. Yep, absolutely. It's about taking the time and the energy and putting the money into a relationship, and it's hard work. The relationships are really hard. Particularly when we become vulnerable and expose ourselves in relationship, because that's, treading on very thin ice sometimes when the consciousness leaves, and it often does in relationship. We can get into the blame game. We can get into stabbing somebody in the Achilles heel because we're wounded ourselves. So it's a very challenging place to be in conscious communication and conscious relationship with our partners, because we are vulnerable. And if we don't have the trust in the relationship to go there, it's very hard because we feel wounded from the partner. So get the communication happening, get the agreements happening, get the conversation happening, get some coaching happening if you need to. I do relationship coaching and counselling. And, seriously, spend some time, quality time to if you book in, seriously, if you're willing to spend $1,000 and have 6 sessions in relationship education, relationship communication, relationship coaching, with me or with somebody else even, it'll totally change your relationship. It'll deepen it, or sometimes it actually makes you realise you're not meant to be together. And that's okay too, seriously, people who stay together for the sake of being together, it's not healthy for anybody. So at some point you may decide not to stay together, and that's actually an okay place. I don't have an agenda when I'm working. My only agenda is to work with what the couple wants. So if you want to stay together, we work on it. If you want to separate, we work on it. If you want to work on lovemaking, we work on it. If you want to work on tantric sex, we work on it. If you want to work on intimacy, we work on it. If you want to work on communication, we work on it. So I'm led by the client. I'm led by you. Okay, thank you. I think he needs it for his past. Yeah, Nicole, we all carry some past. We all carry, I also, we've all got a rucksack full of stuff, myself included. But how long do we want to keep carrying that stuff around for? And when can we start to unpack it and make it lighter? And that's where the psychotherapeutic work comes in, the coaching work comes in, and the mentoring work comes in. It really does. Really comes in, and it needs to be cleared. I work with my coaches, my mentors, my mastermind partner, my therapists, and I clear that stuff. And sometimes you have to go down a few times to clear the same issue. You go and clear the surface stuff, and then you clear the middle stuff, and then you have to go right down the rabbit hole and clear out that deep stuff, particularly if there's trauma there or there's belief systems there. So sometimes it takes time. I know there's some things I'm working on from when I was like 14 or 15 and 16 when I was a wild punk rocker in the UK. I'm still unfurling some of that. I've done workshops, I've done therapy, I've cleaned up, I've changed a lot, I've made new decisions, and occasionally there's a bit of residue in there. So I go back and do a bit more. So I can't expect it to be cleared in an instant for some things. It's just, it just doesn't happen. The mindset, the belief systems and the old stories are so deep that there's layers and layers and layers and layers and layers to get rid of. It doesn't just get cleared in 2 seconds. That's my belief system, and as a therapist, I know that from experience. So it's about going down and choosing to clear it, and then doing the sometimes hard work and getting in the mud and the shit, to clear what needs clearing. So yes, he does have all this. Yep, he will. He's human. We all have this. You probably have it too, Nicole. What do you need to clear? And if you clear stuff together, with your partner, with your soulmates, how deep can that be? Hey, I'm working on my stuff. You're working on your stuff. We can work it individually, but let's go and work on it together. Let's clear up what the relationship needs. So oftentimes when I'm working with couples, I'm representing the relationship. The relationship is the third entity in the room or on the screen. And oftentimes I advocate the relationship. I say, hey, the relationship's not happy right now because you two can't get your stuff together. So I advocate the relationship, and that's a very great place to advocate from because I can be very objective. So his ex thinks he can still control and he's get the teens to control. Yeah. So Nicole, yep, there's story in it, and it's easy to get into the story behind it. And my question would be, when is he and you both ready to move away from the old story, create a new story, create a new paradigm, so that you tell something new? Because I'll tell you, if you don't do the work, you'll be telling this same story and typing the same stuff in 3 months or 6 months, 12 months time, because it's not resolved. So it's about finding the will, finding the courage, sometimes finding the vulnerability to make the phone call, to make the contact, to say, you know what, enough is enough. You know, the cheese in the back of the fridge has got a use by date, and it's done. And it's time to take that old cheese out of the fridge, throw it away, and get a new block of cheese with a new use by date and start afresh. And sometimes you need to start afresh, particularly if exes are involved and ex-partners are involved. You know, I'm in my second marriage. Arlene's in her third marriage. I'm her third husband. So of course we bring baggage, we bring stuff, we bring stories. So we have to clear that old stuff up so that I don't project on Arlene what I had in my old relationship. You know, not saying it was all bad. You know, it was a beautiful relationship. We just decided it wasn't working anymore. We completed. Same as Arlene. She clears her stuff up so she doesn't bring her stuff to me. And that's really, really important. So self-responsibility, and then responsibility as a couple as well. So I said that 4 weeks ago. Enough is enough. Yeah, so that was 4 weeks ago. So what's happened in the last 4 weeks? Have you booked in to see a coach, a relationship therapist? If not, I suggest, you know, don't tell the story again in another 4 weeks. And it might be, hey, part of the relationship deal we have right now is you and I go and do some work. And that's a condition of us moving forward. Sometimes you have to be tough. Because if you're telling the same old story, getting the same old, it's not healthy for anybody. And sometimes it takes one person to make that statement, hey, enough is enough, we're going to do something here. So if I can help you, Nicole, yep. So if you want to do something, you know, give me a call. Let's do something about this. If it's not me, if you don't resonate with me, or if your partner doesn't resonate with me, I can refer you on to somebody else. But it's what I do. I'm a psychotherapist, doing it for 20 years now, and I've worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of couple. And I work online, and I work personally if you're close enough to me as well, or whatever works, but we can certainly work something out. Go to my website, adrianhanks.com, go to the coaching and psychotherapy counselling pages, and you'll see what I do, what I charge, how I work, and if it resonates with you, you can do that, but I'm happy to give you that free 30-minute consultation by going to my website and booking in. And you can do that tomorrow, or you can do that on Saturday, because I'm going to India on Tuesday, and I won't be back for 2 more weeks. And if you want to change that story soon, then I suggest let's get something magical done. So I'm on the Gold Coast in Coomera, and I have a space there I work from in a community space, in a professional room, or I work online on Zoom or Skype, and it's very effective working online as well. So I can certainly do that for you. So yeah, look, people, you know, change their oil in their car, they put fresh fuel in their car, they put air fresheners in their car, they get new tires on their car, they look after their vehicles, and they put more time and energy and money into that than they do in their relationships, and expect the relationships to be as smooth as the journey in the car. But if you don't put the time and energy into money into it, it's usually a pretty bumpy ride. So it's and I say that from experience, from myself, and also from working or not working with clients. Oh, this is good. So it's funny, each week we have different topics, and I get steered in different ways, and it seems today the energy frequency flow is around relationships a little bit. So very happy to continue into relationship and go down the rabbit hole a bit deeper. But also, if you have another question relating to anything else in terms of life balance and life mastery, then please do ask that too. But while we're in that energy flow of relationship, if there's anything you'd like to get answered, any insights, any thoughts from that conscious, clear perspective, then this might be a good time to ask, and that can be on intimacy, sexuality, communication, or any other area of relationship. Very happy to answer questions. So I've been working with men and couples and women around sexuality and intimacy and communication for many years. There's a lot I can share with you, and very open to be very candid and very open about any topic here. So hey, Lorraine from Tassie. Hey, I lived in Tassie for 10 years. I was in the Huon Valley. It's where my 4 children were born, in Tasmania, and my first 4 in my marriage, and Arlene brought 2 more along, so we have a blended family of 6, but all my children were born in Tassie, and I lived there for 10 years. I actually arrived there in 1987 and I did not leave the island for 10 years, which was pretty amazing. I moved from Berlin to Tassie and then didn't leave the island for 10 years, which was quite amazing. I had a certified organic farm in the Huon Valley and had an amazing time in Tassie while I was there, and I have not been back for 20 years, so I'm certainly overdue to go back and visit Tasmania at some point. I think I might go and run some workshops down there in 2020. So Lorraine, if you want any workshops run in Tasmania and you are a networker and coordinator, get 10 people there for the weekend and I'll come down and coordinate, and we'll make it really special for you too, and you can jump in and coordinate if you're open to want to do that. I love getting coordinators in all parts of Australia and overseas, and Arlene, my wife, she's currently in Oslo. She's teaching over there. She's got 3 workshops and about 25 clients in 3 days, and she's got a coordinator there from traveling to Africa or Europe or anywhere else. I love to work with coordinators. It means I just fly in, step in, do the work, and everybody wins. Everybody who is there wins. The coordinators win, and of course I win. So it's everybody's happy. So really, I love meeting people from different places and just putting that on the table. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But fantastic. Yeah, Tassie's changed a lot. Yeah, look, in some aspects, I'm sure it has. In other areas, I'm sure it hasn't. You know, in the bush, I love to go bush in Tassie. I love to go and into nature. I love to go into the ocean. I lived in the Huon Valley, and I know it's changed a lot. I have friends who still live there, and they tell me that it's expanded a little bit. But the population growth hasn't changed much. The forests are unfortunately being deforested a lot quicker than we'd like. So there's lots of things like that happening. Politically, it's changed a little bit. Energetically, yeah, I'm sure there's pockets that have changed and pockets that haven't. And depends. Yeah, I'm not sure where you are, Lorraine. You might want to just type in where you are. But please, if you have a question about your life, about getting into more life balance or life mastery, please also ask that question to keep the show going with questions as well. Because remember, if you ask a question for yourself, I can guarantee you'll be asking that question for somebody else on some level too. Remember, I don't do the mediumship stuff. This is just straight coaching, mentoring, psychotherapy, counselling, question answer type show, because it's what I want to do. I want to empower you, and I want you to make some choices about your vision, your planning and your action in your life. And if I can support that in any way, I can do. So go to my website, adrianhanks.com, have a good browse through there, and if there's anything that resonates, do please contact with me. Samira's East Coast. I live in Coles Bay for a while. I actually helped set up a bakery in Coles Bay many years ago, and I love going to into Freycinet National Park and into Wineglass Bay. I love that walk over into Wineglass Bay. It's one of the most stunning places on the planet. I actually loved staying up there. Schooled my 2 of my children there, and before the other 2 came along, and it was a lovely place to be. I was there for about a year, and I really love that. So I know Samira's really well. It's a beautiful place, and Bicheno and Steglitz and the sand dunes in Steglitz are just incredible place. So yeah, know it well, and yeah, lovely place. So if I come to Tassie, I'd certainly be visiting the East Coast there again, and yeah, maybe just PM me through Facebook, Lorraine, or just send me a message on my Facebook page or on my website, and maybe make that connection up and see if anything unfolds for my Tassie connection, and that'd be great. I know quite a lot of people and got some good friends in Tasmania. So look, has anybody got any questions? Let's get into a bit of a question phase. We've got about 15 minutes left of the show. I'd love to do the Q&A on here and get people really tuned back into life. Been to the top, seeing Wineglass Bay. Yep. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, and the walk over there is absolutely stunningly beautiful across the beaches and over the Three Sisters, and yeah, it's a very deeply spiritual place, and of course very deep and steeped in Aboriginal history there as well, from the Aboriginal mobs that lived there, you know, for a long time. So particularly with the peaks of the Three Sisters there in Aboriginal mythology, quite an amazing place. So very special. Oh, that's good. Yeah, so let's see if we have any more questions. I love being on this show and going, I don't know, I think I've done about probably somewhere in the region of about 20 shows now. I've done them from all over. I've done Belarus, and where else was I? I was in Kuala Lumpur, all over Australia from different places, Queensland, New South Wales, Byron Bay, Melbourne, I think, Sydney, I think I did one. So wherever I am on a Thursday, I tune in and do the show because I'm committed to it, and I'm going to try my best next Thursday. Not quite sure where I'm going to be. I know I've got a tour to the Taj Mahal next Thursday, and I think it's 7 a.m. India time, which is midday Australia time. I know the clocks change here. I've just got to check with the Indian time. So I'm either going to sneak a session in before I get on the bus to Taj Mahal, or I'll just do a quick one on the bus to Taj Mahal, or I'm not quite sure what it's going to unfold, but I will try my hardest. And if it's from the Taj Mahal, it might even be from there, but I don't think so, because I think it's like a 3-hour drive from Delhi over there. But I will endeavour to try my hardest. But certainly the next couple of weeks in India, I'll just have to see what unfolds. If not, I might just do a recording and post something up on Spiritual Events Directory as a recording for you all. So please do connect with me anyway on my website, adrianhanks.com, and let's see if we go for there. So let's see who's left on. There's a few left on here. So if you want to go down the rabbit hole a bit deeper with any of those questions, or if you have another question, just scrolling back through, make sure I haven't missed anything. I love technology. I think it's absolutely fantastic. The fact that I can actually sit here and talk to people all over Australia, actually all over the planet. Sometimes I have a few people jumping in from the States or the UK or Europe. My friend Devon jumps on sometimes from the States, which is really nice. And it's just incredible. I can actually sit here on my phone in a cafe with the Wi-Fi and do this work. I just absolutely think technology is incredible, and I've just been coming across a little bit of new energy frequency technology that I'm engaging in my own work as well, that I'll be exploring and sharing over the next few months. That's quite exciting as well. So it's so let me do a bit of a time check here. Yeah, so look, we've got 15 minutes, so if anybody has any more questions, please do ask. And I do have a question for you. I usually ask this question every week in terms of your own lifestyle. Are you living the 80-20 or 90-10 principle? Are you waking in the morning with a bit of joy? Are you meditating? Are you eating the right food? Putting the right liquids in your mouth? Cautious of any medication, whether that's recreational or whether that's prescribed? Do you really need that? Have you just been labelled with something that you can actually undo and take that label away? Can you break free of the labels? Are you doing your exercise? Are you doing your mindset? Have you started writing that book or creating that thing you want to create? Are you taking time out for yourself? Are you communicating effectively with your family, your friends, your partner? Are you making deep, passionate love with your partner? Are you intimate with your partner? All those questions. And a good way to check it out is go to my website, go to the shop, download the journal, and start to fill the journal out every day, and do it for 7 days, and then do it for 14 days, and then do it for a month, and ascertain where you are right now in your life. Yep, ascertain where you are in your life right now, and then get a sense of where you want to change things. What's your new vision for yourself? And I call that your future potential self. Can you get a vision in your mind of who you want to become? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, sexually, creatively, vocationally, all those areas. Because it starts with a picture, it starts with an image, it starts with an idea. And then you can say, yes, I do. I want to go and lose 10 kilos. I want to stop smoking. I want to stop smoking marijuana. I want to stop drinking. I want to reduce my drinking. I want to get fit. I want to go to the gym. I want to go swimming. I want to communicate better with my partner. So write it down, make the wish, set the desire for the change. That's step one. Write down the desires. You got to mine it up. So what's the best thing you can do now, Nicole, to recover from that? Good, clean, organic food. No junk. Good, clean water. Meditation. Hands-on healing. Frequency healing. Massage. Gentleness. Warmth. Write down the list of things that are going to nurture you, to heal you. And when you come back from the healing, who are you going to come back as? Because I say to people, oftentimes when we go in and get something done in terms of an illness or an operation where we have time to recover, there's a choice to recover and become the same person we were before we went into that illness or that operation or that change in life, or we can re-emerge more than. We can re-emerge more than the person that went into that. Yep. So if we go in and have an op, say for cancer, and we're a particular person when we go in, who do you want to be when you recover and step out of that bed or that room in a week or a month or a year? What's the vision for that? Because this is the ideal opportunity for change, is when you're in bed, when you're in recovery. Because you've got time to reflect, you've got time to write, you've got time to vision, you've got time to plan. You've got time to do your dot points of your action plan. You've got time to, call Adrian and book in for a session. You've got time to book in for 6 sessions with Adrian or 3 sessions. And do the work from the bed and put a plan into action. So that when you emerge, you emerge as that new butterfly, that new bird, that new being, rather than coming out your old self. It's an ideal opportunity. Absolute ideal opportunity. I know if I get sick like really, really infrequently. Honestly, I get the flu about every 2 or 3 years for 48 hours, or some flu symptoms. For me, it's called a cleanse. So if something comes in, I'm ready for something to come in. Obviously, I'm letting it on some subconscious level. I get really fluey. I get into a fever. I sweat. Yeah. And in that space, I say to myself, in 48 hours, I'm going to re-emerge bigger, better, more conscious as a different person. So I do my garlic in my socks, I do my hot showers, I do my lemon and gingers. I don't do medications, I don't even do Panadol, that's just my choice. But I do my sweats, I do my natural medicines, I do my meditations, I do my therapy. I can see my therapist 2 or 3 times. I go and get some sweat massage, I do whatever I can. And 48 hours later, I step out, clean, refreshed, and there's a different version of me. Because I take that time to do the hard work in that space. And usually it's every 2, sometimes every 3 years it happens. And I think the last time it happened was about 2 years ago. And I'm, 100% healthy. I don't get the flu epidemics, I don't do headaches. I'm very lucky, I've got a strong constitution. But I put it down because I work on it. I choose a vegetarian diet. I don't drink, I don't smoke, don't do drugs, don't do Panadol. I have a healthy relationship. I've got my coaches, I've got my mentors. I put everything into place. So I make it happen. I make those choices for myself, and the consequences are I'm really, really healthy. So that's the upside of the consequence. And I know the downside of not doing it because I meet those people every single day, and I used to do it myself. So it's about getting conscious, doing the work. So if you're getting headaches, Nicole, water, good quality water. I drink Kangen water, 9.5 pH, good quality water, and learn the mess. There's a couple of pressure points you can use to get rid of headaches. But look at what's causing the headache. What's the stress? What's the anxiety? What's the energy frequency you're living in? It could be EMFs, could be electromagnetic frequency that's getting in. So do you have some energy cards on your phone, for instance, to stop those EMFs coming in? I do. I've got energy cards on my phone, on my computer, in the home, to stop that EMF frequency, getting in, or neutralizing it, or putting me in the same frequency so I don't get affected by it. So there's lots of things we can do, but mostly I say most human beings are really lazy, and I say that with not much apology, because we're generally lazy. We usually don't follow through to do the self-love, the self-care. So if you feel a loss, you get headaches. So what are you going to do, Nicole? You've got some time in bed, get a pen and paper, and write your vision. What do you want to be doing in the next 6 or 12 months? What do you want to be doing? And a lot of people say to me, oh, I don't know, or I can't do that. Forget all that, just write it down. Where do you want to be living? What do you want to be doing? Who do you want to be with? How much money do you want in the bank? And then phone Adrian, contact Adrian, have a session, book me up as your coach, do 12 months with me, or 1 session with me, or 6 sessions, something, and change the paradigm. This is the time, this is your choice. And the other choice is do nothing. And I say to people, if not now, then when? If not today, then when? And I say to people, really, seriously, if you don't make that call today, if you don't make the contact with me today, you can be here again in a month or 2 months or 6 months and nothing will have changed for you because you haven't taken action. So first step is action. Call me, contact me. Let's have something, let's do something. And if I'm not the right person that you resonate with to do the deeper work, I will give you somebody else to work with. I've got lots of contacts. Of course, I'd love to work with you because it's what I love to do, and it's my vocation. It's the way I finance my life. But if it's not me, if it doesn't resonate, then say to me, Adrian, with all due respect, I don't resonate. Can you find somebody else? Maybe it's a female, maybe it's somebody who's softer or harder or less bold or something. I don't know. But start the process, and that's for you, Nicole, and that's for anybody else on here. Because the saddest thing for me is when I keep seeing the same people over and over on this show or on another show or in public or at a meeting, and they keep telling the same old story. And they'll say to me, "Hi, Adrian." I say, "How are you?" Say, "Oh, this is happening." I say, "Yes, you told me that a month ago." And my usual response is, "And what are you doing about it?" I'm pretty direct. What are you doing about it? And they go, "Oh, I thought I might." I say, "Well, stop thinking about and actually take action. Make the phone call, book the appointment, change the paradigm, or stay in your old story." Stay in the old story. It's your choice. It really is. But we know the consequences of staying in the old story. After a while, it gets a bit used by date. It's a bit boring. People stop listening. But when you have a new story and you sit in a group and tell your new story, then people listen. Then people want to connect. Then there's a deeper, higher vibration. And that's what I'm all about, is helping people to get that new level of consciousness and vibration. And it's what I do well, and I love doing it. So if you want to be in that space, welcome to connect. Yep, absolutely. Look, Nicole, joy is the ultimate space for human beings to be in. It's the actual space. When a baby is born, it's in joy. And we just forget to be joyful. We get into education and trauma and family situations, relationships, and the joy drains from us. Seriously. The natural state of humanness is joy. And I love being in joy. I'm in joy, 95% of the time. I have my down days, I have my down moments. But in essence, I'm a joyful being. I love my joy. I love being alive every single day. I woke up joyful, I go to bed joyful. Particularly because I'm next to my woman when I wake up as well, and I'm with her when I go to sleep. That makes me joyful. We make love and I'm joyful. We meditate and I'm joyful. I write my books, I'm joyful. I meet my friends for coffee, I'm joyful. I swim in the ocean, I'm joyful. I play Didge, I'm joyful. So I have joyful things in my life because I chose to put them there. And if things don't make me joyful, I leave. I don't put up with. If it's not joyful, I just leave it. I move on, or I create joy within that framework. So yeah, Nicole, get into the joy. And if you want some support in that, then absolutely make a contact on my website, adrianhance.com. Book in for a session. I'm available Friday, and I've made myself available Saturday. I don't always do that, but I've done that this week from I think 8 till 6, because I'm going to India on Tuesday for 2 weeks. I'm going there for Skyway Invest Group for a convention. I think there's going to be 10 or 15,000 people in a stadium. And then I'm doing some management training and some business training. And then I'm on a 3-day yoga retreat in Goa. And then back on about the 23rd of October. So I'm away for a little while. So this is the time to connect with me. So you can book in for a session for tomorrow or Saturday. Or I think maybe Monday. I can't remember what to put in my diary. But certainly making myself available for people. And then if you want to book in for something really solid, really real, and you're committed, you can book in and do my 12-month program with me. But there is an interview process with that, because I want the synergy of the group to be really right as well. So do connect up with me. It's been amazing being on this show. We are 12:58 on my clock, so I've got about another minute and a half left before I sign off. I like to do the hour, on the hour at 12 and finish at 1. Thank you, Nicole, for your time too. I really want to thank you for putting in the time to be here and to tune in and listen. And I really hope that something's resonated for you, particularly if you've come out of an op, because seriously, this is an ideal opportunity for you to become more than you are right now. I've got a friend, Barry's my mastermind partner. We do some work sometimes, and I get people to write down a bit of a what I call the power name. And over the years, Barry's written Barry 8.2, and then in a workshop 3 months later he put Barry 8.3, and then a few months later he put Barry 8.4, and we have this ongoing joke that every time we do something he puts another point, because he's growing, of course. So he renames himself, and it's really funny. So find your power name, do the work, and I hope you recover well. But the recovery is in your hands, on the speed of your recovery and the depth of your recovery, and it'll depend on who you want to be when you emerge from that as well. So do all the best you can, eat well, drink well, least medications as you need, as much consciousness as you can, and much support as you can, and I hope to connect with you and everybody else on here very, very, very soon. So you know where to find me, adrianhanks.com, and if you're on the Gold Coast or in Byron Bay, you can drive from the Goldie or even up north if you're south of Byron Bay, 7 p.m. tonight in the community centre. I'll be giving a free 1.5 hour presentation on Skyway Invest Group to help people with their financial freedom as well, because that's all part of my work. So thank you once again, blessings to you. You're going to have a lovely rest of your day, evening or afternoon or night, wherever you are on the planet. See ya.